start. All right, so we're streaming live now, and record, and now we're recording, so it's on.
Okay, sweet.
And then again, so I was just saying something, and then the moment I record, then you forget everything you were saying.
I completely did just now.
Did you? I know.
But I wrote the note.
It's funny how. Did you know that's an actual thing with the human mind? Have you ever noticed that when you walk, you're in your room, right? And something pops in your mind. You're like, oh, I gotta go do that. And so you get up, you get out, and the moment you get to the garage or the kitchen or whatever it is, you're like, why am I here? You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever...
And I write it on my hand so people all the time are like, you always have stuff on your hands. Can I get you a sticky note?
Yeah,
I'm like, no, because I will lose it. So I always have stuff on my hands. They're like ink poisoning.
I'm talking about stuff that's even immediate.
Same. I don't know what's going on.
So if you needed to walk from your room to the kitchen, you would write it on your hand first?
Yes, probably.
I love it. Yes.
I do.
Okay, so that's actually a really good strategy. I should probably do that. But what I was going to say is what happens when you walk into another room is that your brain starts to analyze everything. It starts to look at the frame. It starts to remember everything. So if it's a new location, you're looking for dangerous things or safe things or recognizable things. But if it's a location, like a kitchen, obviously, you're looking for things that are out of order, Yeah, when you walk into a kitchen, you notice why is that over there? You instantly see it, It's because that's how the brain works. It works on a room by room basis. When you enter
That's crazy.
Room,
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
I'm like, dang it, brain.
Gotta unlock the brain.
I know.
It's interesting, because it's that whole the primal brain where it's when you used to have to react to everything in a moment's notice, but now we're just chilling in our rooms, and so it's when you just walk into another room, you're reacting to it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I just think it's funny to think of because it's the same thing with the recording. It's okay, now that we've recorded, we analyze the room, and then we're it's a new room.
It is.
It's a new.
Who just walked by behind you?
That's Chipper. No, that was my roommate, Jake. This is.
Oh, okay.
This is his place.
I'm like, a ghost.
A ghost. What? My door's closed.
That would make an incredible episode.
Oh, actually, I do want to turn off my fan. I got a comment that my microphone picks it up pretty well.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear anything, but...
Well, now you'll hear less. Yeah, so the agreement with the door was legitimately hey, are you cool with me having a podcast and the door being open? And it's why not? And it's you might be walking by every now and then. You're okay. So it's all right, that's it.
I need you to walk every few minutes for continuity.
You have right there. You have a part in my podcast. I almost said my play. That's the fun part, no joke. So the way I kind of pitched it to Jake was I was when I first moved here, which I moved here 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Feels like 2 years ago. But oh my gosh, it's been 3 years. Anyway, and then I lost my train of thought. When I first moved here, I told him that I was I normally like to have the hub where all my friends know they can go, right? It's just in and out. And so honestly, I want one day to start a podcast, to be talking to you, to be talking to episode 5, and then Jelaine walks up and she's we saw you started your podcast.
Oh.
And then I'm just get out of here. No.
Get in. But then you're smiling because you secretly like it.
Yeah, it's totally
get out of here, guy.
Geez, Jelaine. Oh my gosh.
I wish Jelaine wouldn't walk by.
Just do it to me all the time.
Man, in the perfect world, yes. I just want to live in what's that thing called? When it's not like a cul-de-sac, when it's like there's nothing, it's like the dead end.
I think that is called a cul-de-sac.
Okay, so that's my dream, is to just have like all my friends as my neighbors and like in a little cul-de-sac thing. I'm like, oh, fun. 4th of July weekends or days would be so fun.
Dude, that's when we were talking about Joe Rogan and the new what's it?
The new Hollywood?
It wasn't the new Hollywood, but it's here in California. It's where all the technology's made. Starts with a C or an S.
I have no idea.
Dang it. It's annoying me. But anyway, it's the new that. It's like on the tip of my tongue. That's why it's bothering me. But yeah, essentially, that's why he's doing it. That's what he's doing. He's able to like move there, and he literally. I was listening to a podcast where he's talking to his best friend Duncan Trussell, and he's like, "I will buy you a house to force you to live there, to force you to be on my podcast, just as a reoccurring guest every now and then." You know.
Aww.
And yeah, it's because you get this vibe. You don't get this with everybody. You know.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's been a decade and it's as if we just graduated last year.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I feel like it's super easy to talk to you, especially because like I think, yeah, you remind me a lot of my sister and my mom, so it's just like I feel like I'm talking to them.
And I think that just knowing you as my friend, like one of my best friends in high school, and the amazing person that you are now with all of life experiences in the decade, the last decade.
Whole decade.
I think that just who you are as a person brings a lot of joy. And so I truly am like genuinely so honored to be a part of this and to be able to help with that and bring joy out to the world.
Oh my gosh, that is gonna be so much for me to digest, and I cannot wait to edit this later. Because right now I can't cry on camera. I have to be cool. I have to be tough. But then like when I'm editing it tonight, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, Jalea, you're so mean." Like
just have it on a loop.
Yeah, just like I'm honored to be here. You're such a nice person. Like,
but just put yourself into the front, like being tough.
Yeah, just keep like showing my face. You're such a great
It's
guy.
not even a video, it's just a picture of you.
Sunglasses slowly going on.
That's a skipper all over
See the teardrop coming down. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but I do mean it though. Every single word, I mean it. I was so excited when you decided to do this, because I know that this is your baby. And so I know that you're going to put a lot of like your whole heart and soul into it. So
dude, you're really putting me into the moment. You're really taking me out of my own head and putting me in the moment. I really appreciate that. That's like, thank you. Thank you for that. You're
welcome.
Yeah, it's really nice to obviously say that, and obviously to receive it. I kind of never thought I'd get it. It's one of those things where it's like, you're a really good guest.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
I did it. I'm out.
This is everybody.
But yeah, I think a lot of times people, it's really easy to make things about you because you go in sort of an autopilot mode, you know. And I was definitely at the beginning of this in my autopilot mode. I was definitely like, all right, let's just get going. I'm really exhausted. And then you're saying, hey, whoa, let's take a moment to appreciate what's happening right now. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
That's so true. Thank you. So yeah, thanks for getting me out of my head. Thanks for putting me in the moment. When are you hosting your own podcast? Because I want to be on that.
I don't know yet. I want to, because I'm still transitioning to, living from Texas to here. Yeah. And so I told my friend, because she also wants to start doing like, I guess like a more like video, I guess. Well, I guess it'll be kind of like this because she lives there and I'm here. But I told her, I was like, yeah, I'll let you know when everything is settled and my dog from Texas is here, and then we can jump into that. So, but yes, you will definitely be be a guest. And another thing, the reason why I'm genuinely just so excited for you doing this is because, and I've told you this many times before, and I'll continue to say it. You're just one of the most like non-judgmental person like that I've ever met. Like one of the most, I don't know, you're just so genuine and you don't judge people. You're just like, where are you at in life? Okay, I'm gonna meet you there, and let's go on this journey. And I don't know, like I think now we live in a time where everything is about ourselves, like social media and getting likes and getting, you know, followers and stuff like that. And that's cool. That's not like a problem, but it's I think when we become so, about me, we forget about the other person and then we lose compassion. And so we need more of that in the world. And I know I see that you have that characteristic in you. And so to be able to put that out there for people to listen to, um, I'm just grateful to be a part of that.
How do you think, like, thank you. That's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
compliments, more than I've gotten in a long time. I'm going to be holding on to all these. You have no, I mean, you probably do know, but yeah, it's like a good compliment can go so far. That could really be the string that people hold on to for such a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
really, I really appreciate all of this. I appreciate it. As for saying like the nice guy, like thank you. Some people would disagree, but no, I agree with what I think you were saying is to like I like to meet people on their level where yeah, I can be a little judgmental in the sense of like I'll try to judge you. I'll try to say like I feel like you're here right now. Not that that's a problem though. Not that makes
Mm-hmm.
you bad, or
No, yeah.
not that you should feel ashamed or in any way, shape, or form. It just seems like right now you're struggling with this, or you're dealing with that, or you're doing great and things are amazing, but you're getting too big for yourself almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then just show them like no matter what level you're at, you can always just have a little more fun. You know,
Right.
you can always just take things not so serious. It's just like just
Mm-hmm.
have a little like, and it really comes down to like when I was getting a little depressed recently. I really what brought me out of it was realizing like everything's a joke. Anything that seriously though, anything that you hold dear, anything that you hold sacred, anything that you hold special, it's a joke. It's all a joke. Like in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, because what is a joke? It's all about having different perspective. You know, and so
Mm,
it's like
gotcha, gotcha.
when you look at whatever you want to look at through someone else's eyes, you can see that the thing that means the most to you means absolutely nothing to someone else. So it's like these things that you value, just because you put value to it doesn't mean that it has value. But the value that you put on things is just as worth as any value in the world, because it's the value that you
Right.
put.
Right.
Got a little tangent, but yeah. So yeah, I like to meet people on their level and just kind of have fun with it.
No,
um,
I get what you mean, but that's why I think compassion is so important. Is because not only will you meet someone at their level, and even though there will be those times that it feels big to them, but to you, you're like, it's not that big of a deal. But having that compassion and that empathy, you kind of you like feel with them, and you're like, oh, I know that this is a big deal to you. How can I help? Oh,
yeah,
you don't have a car? I can pick you up around that time.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
yeah. I think a lot of people learn that like money can help almost everybody, but when you don't have money, you have to learn how to help people in other ways.
Hmm.
And I'd say that's always been a struggle of mine. Not that I'm like complaining about being broke or something. Um, I actually have a strong like belief between having money and losing creativity. I feel like the more money you have, the harder it is to be creative. Because
Mm.
because you can just do stuff. You can just, oh, okay, I'll just go do that,
Yeah,
um
yeah, yeah.
and then when you can't afford something, you think to yourself, I can't do it, you know but when you can't afford anything, you go, how can I do it? How am I
Right.
gonna make this happen? And so that same thing with money, where it's like, okay, someone's like, okay, well, how can I help you? And they think, I can give you $50 and that fixes your problems for right now. Well, I don't have those $50, so I look at it as like going like, well, how can I help you? And then it's just like, well, I'm struggling with this in my life, and it's like, well, psychologically we can try to meet on like a happy level and just put you in a happy mood, and that's the most I can do
Right.
for you. But I think it's really cool that you pick up on that. I don't think a lot of people pick up on that, like on like the social cues, on the. I always say there's like a physical realm and an earth and a mental realm,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like you have a really good grasp of the mental realm. Like you're able to pick up on those vibes, and you feel, and you can say like, yeah, you put out the good vibes, and you see when people are struggling, and then yeah, you can see me dealing with people struggling, and it's like, oh, dealt with it in a good way. It's like, do you think you've always been able to like have that clairvoyance, that
No, no, definitely not. And I think it has a lot to do with my faith and experiences. And also, I think because of, like, I'm very thankful that I can be creative in some areas. And so, like, for example, if I'm trying to explain a complicated concept, my brain, thankfully, just does this thing where it turns it into like a cartoon or like something like super simple. And I'm able to, like, oh, for example, if it's this and this and this, like, an example is if let's say you asked me, hey, Jelaine, could I have um, could I have that jacket or something? But I know that that jacket is, um, and let's say we don't speak the same language. You're just like pointing like you want the jacket, but the jacket has like stuff on it that's gonna like make you itchy and stuff. And I'm trying to explain like, no, I can't. And in your mind, you're probably like, oh my gosh, she's selfish. She doesn't want to share it with me. And I'm like, oh, how would I explain that concept to someone else? And letting them know that I'm not being selfish, but it's because I love them and I care for them. And then it made me think of, when you're eating and your dog is just right there and you have like a piece of chocolate and they want it and you're like, you can't have this, and they get all sad and you're like, no, 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 it's not like, I love you, but this will kill you,
yeah, yeah.
and so yeah, I think my I don't know, my brain just does that thing, or it helps me to like empathize with people and kind of see things from their perspective. But it took me a long time to get to where I am now, like with the whole like mental realm thing.
Yeah. You mentioned cartoony. Um, is it cartoony or childish? Not meaning.
Childish.
Okay.
Like more, it's like elementary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very. I feel like I've noticed that about myself. I feel like I've noticed. I feel like I've like split my personality into three, where I have
Hmm.
like myself, who just is like kind of the autopilot. I don't have a lot of control over that because that's when autopilot's on.
Hmm.
And then I have the older version of me who says, "John, I don't think that was very smart. I think you could have done better there." And then there's the little kid John who just always just wants to have fun and play and just ruins
Hmm.
everything. And he's like, "I'm so sorry, but I just want to go away." And yeah, and so I started teaching myself how to see the world through his eyes more, in order to sympathize with people more, in order to realize, like, as you said, because the adult side of me would have been like, why do you want this itchy jacket,
Right,
but
right.
the
You're just
child
like,
side, I just
no.
want the jacket, I don't want the itchy side, and it's like we're saying the same thing in different ways.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I definitely don't want. when you have that like wonder in your eyes, like the childishness, I don't ever, it makes me sad because I feel like people as we grow up, like a lot of people tend to lose it. There have been times even that I've felt myself starting to lose it. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, I don't want to like lose that. And, appreciate. And then someone comes over and starts, well, that's just it's a collection of gases. And you're like, why, sir? Why do you do this? Like, you're like, gosh dang, like, so, but that's why it's important to have friends who are like that. You keep each other just like fun and you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Find the community. Find a community where you
Yes,
can, yeah, be yourself and express yourself, and also kind of let other people express themselves. And like you're like, I think that way, you know.
for
Um,
sure.
I don't know if this transitions super well, but but bear with me. There's a little kid. Um, well, the reason it made me think of it is because I also felt that recently. I felt that childlike wonder go,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, it was confusing. I was, because yeah, it's like you think like, man, I used to think one way, and now I don't. Like, where did that go? How do I get
Mm-hmm.
that back? And you can't learn how to get that back exactly. It's like
Yeah.
it's in you or not. Um, I think what I said helped me was everything's a joke, you know. But what's interesting is when you're feeling like that, is you end up doing things that make it worse. You push the people away that care the most. You stop exercising, which you deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't realize, like, oh, I just have to stop doing what I'm doing. Like, it's
Yeah.
you think the world is bad. You think everything's bad, you know, because you're in a bad mood. So it's you reflect everything outside, you know. But then you
Yeah.
realize, like, oh, once I fix what's going on inside, and then everything else starts to brighten up too. Coincidence?
Right. Exactly. That's so true. That's true. Because, like, for example, if I'm just like, oh, like I'm so exhausted, blah, 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 and then I get my coffee, suddenly colors are like so much brighter.
Yeah.
Ideas start to come in. Um, and you're like, wow, I feel terrible that I was being a terrible person 2 seconds ago.
You had this negative outlook, and it was so real, you know.
Right,
You were
right.
so sure of it, and
Yeah,
yeah, next thing you know, you're like, oh, that wasn't real.
yeah. But also, what you were saying, or what you had brought up earlier, is like the importance of community. Um, I have like a few girls who are just like, we keep each other accountable. Like, if I'm like, oh my gosh, like my heart hurts, blah, 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 blah. Because when you're hurt and when you're in pain, that's all you can feel, that's all you can see, and it feels so real. And then I'm like,